Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Osirus, and in today's video we're going over some early gameplay tips for the Mega Dimension DLC in Pokémon Legends EA. Now, I've just finished my first playthrough of the Mega Dimension DLC, and looking back, there are a bunch of things I wish I'd known going through this game for the first time, and hopefully everything that we cover in today's video is just going to enhance the experience for you guys and make things a lot easier. Now, the first thing that I would recommend is a little bit of prep work before going into the DLCs. Make sure that at minimum you've got a team of 6 Pokemon with good coverage at level 100. Every wild Pokemon that you're going to face and encounter in hyperspace is going to be over level 100. So you want to at least make sure that you're at that maximum level cap before going into the DLC, so you can take full advantage of the level boosts that you get, so you match up better against the wild Pokemon and the bosses that you face throughout this story. And I would definitely recommend taking advantage of some of the legendary Pokemon that you can also obtain in the base games, in the post games. Pokemon like Xerneas, like Mewtwo are going to be really useful and make things so much easier against some of those harder boss battles that you have on your way to finishing this DLC. The other prep work I would definitely recommend doing is going around before starting the DLC and finishing up all of your side missions. These are the exclamation marks marked on your map. Just go around and finish all of them, because you're going to get a bunch of new ones in the DLC. They're going to be added at different stages as you progress through the story, and a lot of them are going to be continuations from the original side missions themselves. So the new ones won't appear until you've actually complete that original one in the first place, and it just makes it a lot easier and clearer to see the new ones popping up on your map if you've finished the ones in the base game already. Now, the final bit of prep work I would definitely recommend doing before jumping into the DLC is stocking up on berries. You're going to be making a lot of donuts throughout the DLC to access the hyperspace distortions, and you're going to need berries to make those donuts. The best berries that are available in the base games are going to be the resist berries. They give the highest amount of calories and the biggest amount of level boosts. So I would recommend coming to the Magenta Sector 6 on your map here and visiting these berry vendors and picking up the resist berries like the Chopper Berry, Cassie Berry, and Roselli Berry, just to name a few, before you go into the DLC. So once you start making donuts, especially for those 1 and 2 star rating hyperspace distortions, you're going to be well set up so you don't have to keep going and finding new ones out and about around Lumiose. And there's some really good news for those of you that haven't already obtained your shiny charm. So the research task where you have to complete 1,000 battles, which is a mandatory task to get the shiny charm, isn't going to be needed anymore. Once you got the DLC, you're going to get new research tasks from Mabel, which is going to mean you're going to be able to tot up those points required to get the shiny charm a lot easier than you would have been able to get it just in the base games. Now, after beginning the DLC, you're going to get new icons appearing on your map. These are hyperspace distortions. There are 4 different hyperspace distortion symbols that you can see appearing on your map. You're going to get green ones, which are going to indicate hyperspace wild zones. These are ones where you go and encounter and can obtain the new Pokemon available in the DLC. You're going to get red symbols, which indicate the hyperspace battle zones. So it's just like a regular battle zone, but it's going to be in hyperspace. And then they're going to be yellow symbols as well with a question mark, and these indicate a side mission in hyperspace. The 4th symbol that you're going to see is a mega symbol, and that's going to indicate a rogue mega Pokemon battle, so it'll be like a boss battle. All of these hyperspace distortions range from 1 to 5 star ratings, and that indicates the level of Pokemon that you'll be facing when you enter that area. Typically 1 star rating hyperspace distortions have Pokemon ranging from level 105 to 110, and that increases as you progress through the story until you get to those 5 star ratings, where the Pokemon will generally be around level 200 in these areas. And this is where donuts come in. They're going to play a huge part in this DLC for you. You're going to need donuts to access any one of these hyperspace distortions. And like hyperspace distortions, donuts come with their own star rating. These range from 1 star all the way up to 5 star. And to get the higher star rated donuts, you're going to have to essentially unlock different kinds of butter that you get access to as you progress through the story, which will increase the amount of berries that you can use to make each donut with. Making donuts can be quite overwhelming when you first come into the DLC. At least that's how I felt anyway, especially when you consider all the outside factors, the bonus powers that you can get through these donuts, like sparkling power, alpha power. But we're not going to get bogged down too much in those in this video. I'll have a separate video on the channel in the next couple of days explaining all of that and making sure that you get the most out of the donuts that you make for the hyperspace distortions that you visit out in Lumiose City. I think a good rule of thumb to follow when you're playing through the DLC for the first time is to just match up the star rating of the hyperspace distortion with the donut that you're making. If you've got 1-star hyperspace distortions on your map, just make 1-star donuts. That'll give you an adequate level boost to your Pokemon and enough time to do the tasks in that hyperspace distortion. You can use lower star rated donuts to access higher star rated hyperspace distortions, but it's not going to give you as big an increase to your Pokemon's levels to match up with the wild Pokemon that you'll be encountering, and you'll not get maybe as much time as you need to complete the tasks in that hyperspace distortion as you might need. So just using the same star rated donut as the same star rated hyperspace distortion is going to be the best rule of thumb to go forward with when playing through the DLC. To progress through the story, you're going to have to collect hyperspace survey points. Now, to get these points, you're going to need to go into different hyperspace distortions and complete tasks. Completing these tasks will give you those survey points. And depending on the hyperspace distortion that you're in, if it's a wild zone, you're going to get tasks that are more centered around destroying, collecting objects, as well as catching Pokemon. And in the battle zones, as you can imagine, it's going to be more centered around trainer battles, how many trainers you've beat, or how many Pokemon you can knock out before being detected, etc. Stuff that you would normally see in a battle zone. In the wild and the battle zones, you're generally going to get 3 tasks per visit. And once all 3 tasks have been complete, you'll get the hyperspace survey points. But on top of that, a bonus notification is going to appear. A bonus ball has appeared in this pocket of hyperspace. This is essentially a giant golden Pokeball with some really rare items available for you as a reward, including those rarer hyperspace berries that you're going to need for those 5-star donuts, with the sparkling and additional powers that you might need as you progress later in your playthrough. Your job when this notification appears on your screen is to locate this Pokeball and destroy it. If you run out of time before you find this giant golden Pokeball, then you don't get the high cost items and unfortunately you miss out. So it's worth making sure you get through the tasks as quick as possible so you give yourself enough time to find it, because it's not always in the same place when it does appear. Now, using a Pokemon like Dragonite, I use this in the battle zones throughout Lumiose City with really good success, with extreme speed just to snipe Pokemon, just to snipe objects and things like that. It's going to be really useful and something I found very, very helpful when I was playing through the games, just to make sure that I can get those higher out of reach Pokeballs when I need to destroy them, snipe those Pokemon in the battle zones when I was doing it as well, and just be able to generally get through the tasks a little bit quicker than I would have been normally. Another thing to keep in mind when you're in any of these wild or battle hyperspace distortions is to pick up any of the sparkling objects that are in these areas. These can be high cost items, anything from the hyperspace berries that you're going to need for making better donuts, to Gimmighoul coins that you're going to need to evolve Gimmighoul into Gold Dingo. Also, in the wild hyperspace distortions, you're going to see regular trainers dressed up as you are, and also red holographic trainers as well. Now, the red holographic trainers are the ones that you're going to want to concentrate on. Don't skip over those. They'll have more Pokemon generally, but once you've beat them, speak to them, because they do offer up things like bottle caps. So farming for those in particular, going to be a whole lot easier in the hyperspace distortions. And another thing that's made easier in the DLCs is getting mega shards. You're going to have an abundance of these just playing through the games, visiting different hyperspace distortions, and you want a place to spend them. Quasartico Inc. is a place that you can stop by every now and again to stock up on level up candies, to level up new Pokemon that you've caught. And as well as Quasartico as a place to spend these mega shards, there is a new NPC vendor that's appeared near Wild Zone 17. If you come to this location here on your map, down this back alleyway, this NPC here will exchange mega shards for new TMs that are available now within the DLC. So it's worth every once in a while just checking your bag. If they're maxed out, come to this vendor, collect one of the TMs or some feathers that they offer in exchange for mega shards. And also a side note as well in regards to this NPC, once you finish Hyperspace Main Mission 12, come back, visit them, because a new side mission will start, and this one involves Genesect. I'll leave it there for you to discover when you get to that stage of the DLC. So there we go, some early gameplay tips for your time in the Mega Dimension DLC. If you found anything in today's video helpful, please consider dropping a like. It does really help out. Do subscribe to the channel as well to stay up to date with all of our Mega Dimension DLC coverage that we've got coming out on the channel. And we'll leave it there, friends. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. So until then, take care and bye-bye.